In the first bulletin of this series, we provided an overview of what domestic violence is. In this, the second in the series, we will explore options available for dealing with domestic violence. In the third bulletin, we will examine the cycle of violence. It is very important to understand that if you are a victim of domestic violence, you need to take a first step and seek help. This first step may be the most difficult part in the process of dealing with domestic violence. However, nothing will change until you decide that change has to take place and that violence perpetrated against you must stop. Once you have decided to seek help, several options become available.
Some of the options you can consider include asking help and advice from family and friends, consulting healthcare professionals such as a social worker or psychologist. These professionals can help you to cope with your emotions and provide you with practical advice and support, as well as provide support in decisions you might have to make about your life and your future. If the perpetrator assaulted you, you could also lay a charge of assault against him or her with the South African Police Service. A very effective form of help that is readily available is to apply for a domestic violence protection order from a magistrate's court. Obtaining a domestic violence protection order is easy. The process of obtaining a domestic violence protection order consists of 5 steps. Step 1. Go directly to the nearest magistrate's court and ask to speak to the clerk of the domestic violence court. The clerk will assist you and guide you through the process of applying for the order. The process of making an application entails you providing a written version of the events you are complaining about. You could write or type your version at home and bring it along to the court, or simply write it out when you are at the courthouse. You will be asked to take the oath, swear to the truthfulness of the written version you have given. If the person you complain about does not reside with you, you will be asked to provide an address for him or her where process, an interim order or notice to attend at court may be served. Step 2. While you wait at the court, a magistrate will assess your application and decide to grant you an interim domestic violence protection order. Remember, the interim order is a valid, fully enforceable court order that serves to protect you. If it is late in the day or there are several matters requiring the attention of the magistrate, you may be requested to return to court the following day to receive the outcome of your application. Step 3. A copy of the interim domestic violence protection order or notice to appear will be handed or served on the perpetrator by the sheriff of the court or the SAPS so that the perpetrator will know what he or she is forbidden from doing or what the court has ordered that he or she must do. If the perpetrator does not obey the court order, he or she may be arrested immediately, whether it is during working hours, thereafter, or over a weekend. The staff at the magistrate's court will explain to you how this works when the interim order is granted. The interim order or the notice to appear will contain a return date when both you and the respondent or perpetrator must return to the court. Step 4. The return date. On this day, you and the perpetrator appear in court so that the matter can be finalized. The court will give both parties an opportunity to tell their version of the events. Step 5. A final domestic violence protection order will be issued if your situation warrants it. What are the implications of having a domestic violence protection order in place? The implications of a domestic violence protection order will vary as the content of the order depends on your specific circumstances.
What follows are examples of what can be stipulated in a domestic violence protection order.
The perpetrator may be prohibited from Entering your home even if this is the home where the perpetrator also normally lives. Entering your workplace. Arranging for other people to commit an act of domestic violence against you. The perpetrator may be ordered to pay urgent financial relief. This can provide for payment of, for example, transport costs, purchasing of food, payment of rent, and similar critical expenses. The order can also instruct the South African Police Service to remove any firearms or other dangerous weapons owned by the perpetrator. Escort you to the residence you share with the perpetrator in order to safely collect personal belongings that you need if you have decided to leave the shared residence. This could include the belongings of family members or children who had to leave the home with you to escape from the abuse of the perpetrator. In conclusion, we discussed the process of getting help. In the next bulletin, we will examine the cycle of domestic violence.